Hi. So I literally don't ever really know what I'm going to say. Um, I might be thinking earlier in the day before it gets down to it, things that I could talk about. What happens is before I do a video, I go pray. And then I could be talking about something totally different. Yeah. I don't even know why I even tried to think about it before. It's silly. Um, So, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Um, One would be God, of course. Okay, I'm always going to talk about God, love, mental health, because all that goes together. Um, Being kind. When I talk about we should love one another, well, being kind to yourself is the first thing you should be doing. You're created perfect. Um, And okay, so if okay, each of us are created, would loving yourself and appreciating what was created, would that not be the very first step, the very first thing you need to do? Well, it is. um, Literally, the reason is because everything in your life, um, relationships, um, decisions, um, things you enjoy, your overall mood, everything in your life is based on how you feel about yourself, first and foremost. That's when I say, oh, it's really easy to see. Well, it is for me. And once, because I'd love to help you see, that's my, once you get the awareness, awareness, that's what we all need. We really need to listen, or I call it being teachable. I know that you guys know, um, because you're interacting with others, how ridiculous it is that people want to argue. That's another that doesn't make sense to me. Um, Arguing. Um, Arguing can absolutely be healthy. Yes. That's that. There's arguing is not negative. If you, unless you make it negative, and that's pretty much everything. There are a lot of words that we as a society and it's just we have uh, made negative, and then it's like it doesn't get used. But then we make words like sus. It's a little sus. We get lazier and lazy. Just say the other syllable. Just say it. But we are so lazy. That's another. See, there's just too much to talk about always. I think I could just talk forever. I didn't mean to scare you. um, oh, and then I jump around, and I know I do that. Um, I'm happy to explain anything and everything, and I want to, and I talk in detail because I know that we're dangerous creatures, and I know that if I don't get it all out, how I see it, my perception, and rather than asking for clarification from me, um, everybody would just make up their own stuff because that's what we do. Because we think asking is that, and that doesn't make sense to me either. We think that if we ask, I have this conversation a lot. Oh, it just drives me nuts. It gets my goat. I notice I've been saying that a lot too. Oh, and see, I noticed that I already skipped back to I give a lot of detail, and my brain works a lot faster than anything else. my body can't work as fast. So I realize, because I watched the tape back, and I'm like, meh, that's just me. So I don't want to try to redo anything, because I don't know, why not be natural? I'm comfortable with it. I mean, my goodness. I want everybody to be as comfortable as I am in everything. Literally, seriously. That's what I'm trying to spread. And also please ask for clarification on anything. And that, going back to that, is because how do we learn? If you don't, by the way, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get the information. And I've had this discussion with several people from several different generations. Because guess what? That's right. Everything's passed down. Remember when I say, if I haven't said it, I say it up here. And that was what I was getting at. This works so fast. Sometimes the conversation's already been had, and I might start it and realize, well, that's not the conversation I wanted, so I'll stop it, skip it. It's just me. It's just me. Oh, there's just so much. There's just too much. No, there's never too much, but okay. If we don't, so over the years, what's happened is that somewhere along the line, asking a question to learn and gather information was considered terrible. Okay, so, and I get that, because I think, well, now why would that be? Well, maybe because there was a lot of secretive shit going on back in the government. Isn't there always something? People are always trying to hide. I don't want to hide. That's why I'm like, here I am. We shouldn't be hiding. We should be confidently just doing whatever. And also, that brings up another great point, that I'm never alone. I say that so much, but I behave like someone's always watching, because they are. Someone's always watching. Yeah. Why would you not just want to be the best? But being the best doesn't mean running over people, being ugly to people, stepping on people to get to the... No. Let me tell you what being best is. Role modeling that love. And getting better and better and better. And actually wanting to do it, wanting to put forth effort, not only in you, but let me tell you how that works too. Everything trickles down. If you put effort in you, remember, everyone is a role model. I'm not a role model. It's my goat. Everyone's a role model. Someone's watching you constantly. When I said that the reason that I act like, because God is always with me. God's always, and I'm asking, is that right? Is it, I always want to be the best, and to be the best means helping others as best as you can, giving the best of you to other people. Now, let me tell you what the best of you is not. Being ugly to somebody, that's not the best of you. Why would you not? Well, I know why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I'm here to tell you, and I want everyone to know, if anybody has ugly behaviors towards another person, if there's no love in that, they don't love themselves. In fact, let me show you how this works. The uglier the person is to someone, the more they dislike themselves. And if you've ever spoken to me, if you've ever sat on that side, and I am helping you in any way, and I've told you, or that I will tell you exactly. I'm as is, whether you're a patient, whether you're my child, whether you're another family member, a colleague, someone I'm supervising, someone I'm working with, someone that I just met. Everybody, I'm going to give you, I hope to give you, and I want to give you the very best of me. Because I love me, I love you. I can use the word love appropriately. You'll hear me repeat, God is love. God is synonymous with love. If you say love, you're saying God. If you say God, you're saying love. I curse, yes, I do, but it's the intent of the heart. However, I go by God's word. Do not use your God's name in vain. So I don't do that. If you're saying God, you're saying love. And here's the kicker. I keep learning new things because we've always heard narrow is the path. Let me tell you something. It gets narrower and narrower the closer you get with God. And the more you love yourself, I mean, it's just amazing. It's a wonderful thing. Loving yourself changes your whole life. Yeah, it's great. Ooh, once again, my mind went, okay, so, going back to taking my God's name in vain, I don't do that. Well, think of, if you say God, you say love. If you say love, you say God. How many people misuse the word love? Oh my goodness, that goes to an even bigger subject though, because here's the thing. I started to touch on this. I noticed it in a couple of videos, but remember I skip around and I go, who knows where. Love, everything's learned. Who set you down and taught you what love was? Anybody? How did you figure that out? What, now there are several different ways to learn. Observing is a very good, that's why I say role model. Everyone's a role model. Okay, but let's talk about observing. So if we observe, let's say that we grow up in a home where love is slapping, hitting, physical abuse. That's okay, it's out of love. What if that's taught? Okay. What if even emotional abuse, verbal abuse? Oh goodness. Abuse is abuse. I love, once again, go back to arguing, investigating. Was it abuse? Listen. Once again, something's amiss. Something's not quite right. How about let's listen? But however you learned love, I would be willing. Well, no, I'm not going to wager, but I'm going to just pull a percentage out. 83%. Okay, so 100% of us, that's everybody that you're looking at, has a different definition of love. And let me tell you why. Because we're dangerous. That's why I talk in so much detail. That's why I feel like I need to. Because if we don't know something, of course, and we may have been taught not well. Remember, there's a lot of things we need to unlearn. But if whatever love, if we're not taught, we observe, we just make it up. We make it up. And I don't believe that we go and we think, oh, I know what love is. God is love. No. I'm not going to I'll go into more depth about that whole subject and explaining how I can make it more understandable, I guess, about just the concept of God is love, and well, how would you know then what God is, and or how would you be able to define it by that? I can do that for you, because well, I can share with you what God has shared with me. How's that? And once again, I one of the okay, I like to say, listen, I'm not like I'm not starting a cult. I'm just sharing my relationship with God. I'm not my God, the God that I speak with, and I'm not trying to influence anyone. I'm just sharing with you my life and what my spiritual connection has been about, and how I live my life with that. Um, and when I share something, I um, remember I'm in such detail because I want you to have the whole picture, the whole story. And I don't want you to be scared to ask a question. Once again, somewhere down the line, somebody has, we were scared to ask questions, maybe, the hiding, so whatever. And I work with um, anyone and everyone, those that are have been incarcerated, and that's a whole different life itself. And if you ask a question, you're trying to investigate, or you're trying, I ask a lot of questions because I'm investigating everybody, by the way, but not to do harm, because I literally want to know. Because if you don't know something, you need to ask for clarification. Listen, if somebody gets upset with you because you're asking questions, because here's the thing. Why get upset when, if I, okay, you approach me and you're asking questions, and I don't want to share that information, then it's up to me to just, I don't care if you ask questions or not, but I'll let you know, because I'm assertive. Often called a bitch, but once again, it doesn't matter what you call me, because I know exactly who I am, and that's what matters. I don't have that insecurity. I'm assertive appropriately. Can I be? Well, yes, I'm human. My point is I hope to get better and better and not continue to make the same mistakes. Throughout my life, if you've seen me having crazy episodes, I'm sure you have, because yeah, they're there. Hopefully you've noticed that they've gotten less and less. I just love to share what I don't know, what makes sense to me, what doesn't. Never know what I'm going to say, where I'm going to go. Okay, so I talked about. No, I didn't. I haven't even. This is majorly important to me. Okay, so crying. I talked about questions, crying. Do me a favor. Let's do something. Let's try something. Unlearned. Remember, passed down, passed down. I cry every day. I cried before I made this video. Why is that? Once again, because I know how to feel. And what happens before I make the video is I go in prayer with God. And yes, I cry because I'm feeling deeply. I'm proud of that. My eyes are swollen a lot because I want to feel. Well, I know that I have 100% control over my mind. We all can have that. We're just not taught how to do that. Once again, mental health, there's just so much. And I feel like I've become a conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I think, No wonder they don't put mental health in schools, because they don't want a lot of me's running around. Thinking outside the box, not taking your word for it. Anything that a man says, and you know what, I'm man too. I'm mankind too. Don't, and that's the thing. Don't trust me. I wouldn't trust me. What are you talking about? Ask God yourself. That's what I would do. Don't take my word for it. I'm just sharing my, but yeah, I'm not trying to influence you, just sharing. So crying, let's try a trend. I'm old, by the way. 1976 or Generation X. This trendy stuff. Crying is, let's have a contest. Seriously. I'm going to post it in my group. We're going to have a contest to who's had the most cries in one day. Be proud of that. Because you're feeling deeply. Those that don't cry ever, I would be concerned. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, somebody just came in, so who is it? I'm doing a video. What if, so crying, we're going to do contests too. If you're crying, good. Those that don't cry, I'm concerned. Why don't you feel deeply? Why don't you want to? Be proud. When someone says, oh, I'm emotional, I've been so overly emotional. Says who? Once again, back to, so somebody told you were overly emotional because they're an expert in your feelings somehow. Don't know how. Once again, you got that information. I want to know, but you're not overly emotional. You're actually being human. You're having feelings. Why in the world? Where? Somewhere, I'm going to ask that. That's my next study, is why we're feeling suppressed and seen as such awful things, and then taught we still suppress it. And the reason is, once again, until we put it in schools, one day someone is going to listen to me. And by the way, if you know me, I write emails to State Superintendent of Education in schools. I reach out to Congress, that's not my area of expertise either, but I'll just do whatever I like. There's a lot of areas of expertise that I don't have. I have one. It's human being. This one. This is the showing the love. That's it. Not a techie. There's a lot of areas that, but once again, I don't just sit around and wait for somebody to come do it for me. No, I'm just going to do it myself. If I do it wrong, then guess what? I'll know that I did it wrong, and then, hey, I could do it again, and I can learn how to do it right, and that's okay. And I'm not scared to make mistakes. I'm not scared to say, hoo, I was wrong. I made lots of mistakes. Ooh, look at this mistake I made. Mistakes, I welcome them. Without mistakes, I wouldn't know how to do better, or that I needed to do better. That other thing was a little bit of positivity that I wanted to share, because I am notorious for positivity, because it's a habit, just like any negativity is. I wanted to say your negativity because I don't have that. I got the opposite. My youngest son tells me that I'm also whatever the opposite of Asperger's is. That's me. He's right. Good thinking. But what if, no matter what, we lived a day of total gratefulness? What do you think that would be like? And when I say total gratefulness, I mean, oh, thank you. I had a flat tire. Well, thank you that I did not have a bad crash. Thank you that I survived that. And, you know, that kind of stuff. Just constant, no matter what it is, be grateful for it. You lose your job, you lose a contract. Okay, thank you, because I know that that means something bigger and better is coming. All right. What if you lived your life? You opened your eyes, the alarm goes off in the morning. Thank you for this technology, for being able to have something that can wake me up so that I can be responsible, and my day can go easier, my world can be easier, what have you. Just I'm trying to think of things that are like basically that I live my day. Literally. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for mistakes. Because I want to get better. I want to thank you for everyone, every human. Well, generally, but that I come in contact with, that I love humans. I love God. I love me. I love humans. Oh, that reminded my crazy mind that now my spirituality, God is love. Love your God first and foremost, and then love your neighbor as thyself. I'm going to detail that too. I have seen how some of you love yourself. I don't want you loving me like that. Let's talk about that. I think that's important. That's why I feel like it's just remember, common sense is only common to the individual. We have to ask for clarification. You love, for me, God first and foremost, and love yourself. Okay, that's the important part, because why? And once again, what doesn't make sense to me? Y'all are going to learn lots of stuff. But I would be y'all tell me if it makes sense to you, okay? Or tell me that don't make sense to you. I love that. I'm not I love to, once again, think about I work hard to be the most appropriate human being. Literally. To do everything with love. That was my whole goal in life. I just wanted to be good. Literally. Okay. But back to, see, I lost it. I do that a lot too. It's a lot of information. Love yourself. Yes, because that's, does it make sense? Yes, what? Does it make sense if, okay, so it would be like, for instance, I have 3 children, okay? It would be like me telling them, you have to love your siblings, but not yourself. You, as a parent, you want your children to love themselves. That is, and remember, we as parents have a huge part to play, or not play, in a child's life. Role model. And like I said, if you want to, you do not love yourself if you're angry all the time. Okay, you don't love yourself if you're ugly to others. You don't love yourself if there's a lot of things. And you might not want to admit it. Once again, why don't we just be real? Let's start a trend of being real, and don't forget who can cry the most, who can feel the deepest. Whatever you tell your mind, whatever you believe, will always be most important. So if somebody says, really, are you just telling yourself that? Of course I'm telling myself that, because that's exactly what I want to believe. If it does joy and happiness and love, yeah, why wouldn't I? Why would I want to be miserable? Y'all are probably asking yourselves, why are we miserable? You choose it. We don't choose it. Yeah, you do. You do. Because each of us have that. You can be the master of yourself. But you gotta believe.